Hello guys, in this lecture we are going to see energy policy in India. Energy policy in India that already described in the last lecture, but I would like to revise that part, that is energy policy in India. The energy policy of India is largely defined by the country's expanding energy deficit and increased focus on developing alternative sources of energy, particularly nuclear, solar, and wind energy. India attained 63% overall energy self-sufficiency in 2017. The primary energy consumption in India grew by 2.3% in 2019, and it is the third biggest after China and USA with 5.8% global share. The total primary energy consumption from coal, that is 55.88%, crude oil is of 29.55%, natural gas of 6.17%, nuclear energy 1.09%, hydroelectricity 3.91%, and renewable power 3.40% is 809.2 megaton, excluding traditional biomass used in the calendar in the year of 2018. In the year of 2018, India's net imports are nearly 205.3 million tons of crude oil and its products. India is largely dependent on fossil fuels imports to meet its energy demand by 2030. India's dependence on energy imports is expected to exceed 53% of the country's total energy consumption. About 80% of India's electricity generation is from fossil fuels, and India is surplus in electricity generation and also marginal exporter of electricity in 2017. Since the end of calendar year 2015, the huge power generation capacity has been idling for want of electricity demand. India ranks second after China in renewables production with 208.7 megatons in 2016. In 2017-18, the per capita energy consumption is 23.355 gigajoules, excluding traditional biomass use, and energy intensity of the Indian economy is 0.2332 megajoules per INR. That you can say 56 kilocalorie per INR. Due to rapid economic expansion, India has one of the world's fastest growing energy markets, and it is expected to be the second largest contributor to the increase in global energy demand by 2035. Given India's growing energy demands and limited domestic oil and gas reserves, the country has ambitious plans to expand its renewable and most worked out nuclear power programs. India has the world's fourth largest wind power market and also plan to add about 1 lakh megawatt of solar power capacity by 2020. India also envisages to increase the contribution of nuclear power to overall electricity generation capacity from 4.2% to 9% within 25 years. The country has 5 nuclear reactors under construction, third highest in the world, that is third highest in the world, and plans to construct 18 additional nuclear reactors, which should be second highest in the world by 2025. During the year 2018, the total investment in the energy sector by India was 4.1%, that you can say $75 billion. Indian solar power PV tariff has fallen to 2.44 rupees per kilowatt hour in May 2017, which is lower than any other type of power generation in India. In the year 2020, the levelized tariff in US dollars for solar PV electricity has fallen to 1.35 cents per kilowatt hour. Also, the international tariff of solar thermal storage power plants has fallen to 0.063 US dollars per kilowatt hour, which is cheaper than fossil fuel plants. The cheaper hydro and solar power, you can say hybrid power generation, need not depend on the costly and polluting coal or gas fired power generation for ensuring stable grid operation. Solar electricity price is going to become the benchmark price for deciding the other fuel prices. So that nothing but petroleum products, natural gas, biogas, LNG, CNG, LPG, coal, biogas, biomass, etc., which is based on their ultimate use and advantages. Let's see that energy sources in India one by one. First, we will see the list of the energy sources for energy generation in India. First is oil and gas. Second, coal, biofuels, nuclear power, hydroelectricity, wind power, solar energy, solar thermal power, hydrogen energy. These are the resources present in India for energy generation. So let's see first one, oil and gas. Basically this picture shows an ONGC platform at Bombay in the Arabian Sea. India ranks third in oil consumption with 212.7 million tons in 2016 after USA and China. During the calendar year 2015, India imported 195.1 million tons crude oil and 23.3 million tons refined petroleum products and exported 55 million tons refined petroleum products. India has built surplus world-class refining capacity using imported crude oil for exporting refined petroleum products. The net imports of crude oil is lesser by 1/4 after accounting exports and imports of refined petroleum products. Natural gas production was 29.2 billion cubic meter and consumption 50.6 billion cubic meters during the calendar year 2015. During the financial year 2012-13, the production of crude oil was 37.86 million tons and 40,679 million standard cubic meter. The net import of crude oil and petroleum products is 146.70 million tons worth of rupees 5,611.40 billions. This includes this includes 9.534 million tons of LNG imports worth of rupees 282.15 billions. Internationally, LNG price LNG price it is of in the million of LNG is equal to 0.1724 barrels of crude oil, and it is fixed below crude oil price in terms of heating value. LNG is slowly gaining its role as direct use direct use fuel in road and marine transport without regasification. By end of June 2016, LNG price has fallen by nearly 50% below its oil parity price, making it more economical fuel than diesel or gas oil in transport sector. The state-owned Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, that is ONGC, acquired shares in oil field in countries like Sudan, Syria, Iran, and Nigeria. Investments that have led to diplomatic tension with the United States. Because of the political instability in the Middle East and increasing the domestic demand for energy, India is keen on decreasing its dependency on OPEC to meet its oil demand and increasing its energy security. Several Indian oil companies, primarily led by ONGC and Reliance Industries, have started a massive hunt for oil in several regions in India, including Rajasthan, Krishna Godavari Basin, and northeastern Himalayas. India has nearly about technically recoverable resources of shale gas, which can meet all its needs for 20 years if exploited. India is developing an offshore gas field in Mozambique. The proposal Iran, Pakistan, India pipeline is a part of the India's plan to meet its increasing energy demand. This is about the oil and gas. Next is the coal. This picture shows a coal mine in Jharkhand state, which is present in India. India has the world's fifth largest proven coal reserves. In India, coal is the bulk primary energy contributor with 56.90% and share equivalent to 452.2 megatons in 2018. India's coal production has only fallen once in the last 30 years when the figure fell from 319 in 1997 to 319 megatons in 1998. India is also second largest importer of coal, and it is of 141.7 megatons in 2018, and the second largest consumer of coal with 452.2 megatons in 2018. India is also home to the world's largest coal company, Coal India Limited, which controls 85% of the country's coal production with 7.8% production share of coal, including lignite in the world. Top 5 hard and brown coal production producing countries in 2013 and 2012 are nothing but China, United States, India, Australia, Indonesia. However, India ranks fifth in global coal production at 228 megatons, that is 5.9% in 2013, when its inferior quality coal tonnage is converted into tons of oil equivalent. Gasification of coal or lignite or pet coke produces syngas or coal gas or coke oven gas, which is a mixture of hydrogen, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide gases. Coal gas can be converted into synthetic natural gases, that is SNG, synthetic natural gases, by using Fischer-Tropsch process at low pressure and high temperature. Coal gas can also be produced by underground coal gasification, where the coal deposits are located deep in the ground or uneconomical to mine the coal. CNG and LNG are the emerging as economical alternatives to diesel oil with the escalation in international crude oil prices. SNG, that is synthetic natural gas production, technologies have tremendous scope to meet the transport sector requirements fully using the locally available coal in India. Next is biofuels. This first picture shows this the gasification of charcoal or coal. This picture shows the process of that uh, pyrolysis of carbonaceous fuel, and this picture shows the biomass pellet fuel from India. Let's see, gasification of biomass yields wood gas or syngas, which can be converted into substitute natural gas by methanation. Nearly 750 million tons of non-edible biomass is available annually in India, which can be put to higher value addition use and substituted imported crude oil, coal, LNG, urea fertilizer, nuclear fuels, etc. It is estimated that renewable and carbon natural biomass resources of India can replace present consumption of all fossil fuels when used productively. Huge quantity of imported coal is being used in pulverized coal-fired power station. Raw biomass cannot be used in pulverized coal mills as they are difficult to grind into the fine powder due to caking property of raw biomass. However, biomass can be used after torrefication in the pulverized coal mills for replacing imported coal. Northwest and southern regions can replace imported coal used with purified biomass where surplus agriculture crop residual biomass is available. Biomass powder plants can also get extra income by selling the renewable purchase certificate that we called as RPC. And the next is nuclear power. This first picture shows the nuclear power plant that is available in India at Kudankulam in Tamil Nadu, which is of 2 by 1000 megawatt. And this another picture shows a power plant present in the Kaiga at Kaiga in India. India boasts a quickly advancing and active nuclear power program. It is expected to have 20 gigawatt of nuclear capacity by 2020, though it currently stands as ninth in world in terms of nuclear capacity. India has been using imported uranium and it is under International Atomic Energy Agency, that is IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency. But it has developed various aspects of nuclear fuel cycle to support its reactors. Development of select technologies has been strongly affected by limited imports. Use of heavy water reactors has been particularly attractive for the nation because it allows uranium to be burned with little to no enrichment. India has also done a great amount of the work in the development of thorium-centered fuel cycle. While uranium deposits in the nation are extremely limited, there are much greater reserve of thorium and it could provide hundreds of times the energy with the same mass of fuel. The fact that thorium can theoretically be utilized in heavy water reactors has tied the development of the two. A prototype reactor that would burn uranium plutonium fuel while irradiating the thorium blanket is under construction at the Madras or Kalpakkam atomic power station. Uranium used for a weapons program has been separated from the power program using uranium from scant indigenous reserves. This is about the few of the resources present in India. And this one, hydroelectricity. India is also having a much hydroelectricity power generation. India is endowed with economically exploitable and viable hydro potential assets to the about 1,25,570 megawatt at 60% capacity factor. India ranked fourth globally by underutilized hydropower potential. In addition, 6,780 megawatt in terms of installed capacity from small, mini, and micro hydel schemes have been assessed. Also, 56 sites for pumped storage schemes, that is PSS, with an aggregate installed capacity of 94,000 megawatt have been identified for catering to peak electricity demand and water pumping for irrigation needs. It is most widely used for of renewable energy, but the economically exploitable hydropower potential keeps on varying due to technological developments and comparable cost of electricity generation from the other sources. The hydroelectric potential of India ranks fifth in terms of exploitable hydro potential on global scenario. This is about the few of the energy sources present in India. Thank you very much.